A long-awaited homecoming. An Arizona soldier who died in the Korean War finally laid to rest in Tucson. His identification is a result of advancements in DNA technology. Cronkite News reporter Mikenzie Hammel explains what led up to this emotional moment.
At the end of the Korean War, there were more than 8,000 missing soldiers. The remains of more than 600 soldiers are interred at a cemetery in Hawaii. Now the U.S. government is going through the painstaking process of identifying these men, one by one. For one Arizona family, these efforts brought closure. It was a bittersweet ending to a story 70 years in the making on this gusty day at South Lawn Cemetery in Tucson.
It's like a person that you've never met before that you have so much respect for.
Tammy Shreve never knew him, but her uncle's death plagued her family for years.
And I kind of equated it a lot to my children. I have children that are 17 and 20. And I think of him being 19, right in that age group, and how would my kids have reacted being in a war? And just the terror, but at the same time, being scared, but being proud of what you're doing and what you're fighting for.
Private Felix Yanez was 19 years old when he died in the Korean War in 1950. He was among nearly 500 soldiers killed in a single battle along the Coom River, many of whom are still unaccounted for today.
The whole thing has been incredibly overwhelming, just the amount of honors and respect that he's getting from everybody. It's beyond anything I could have ever imagined.
The military did not recover Yanez's remains until 8 months later, but due to less advanced technology at the time, he was left unidentified for decades. Shreve made it her mission to bring her uncle home so her 83-year-old mom could give her brother a proper burial.
I don't want to say it was an obligation, but it was an obligation in my heart that I had to do. I would always tell my family, I'm like, he's not going to be forgotten on my watch. It's not going to happen.
Shreve actively searched for him for the last 10 years, but for the last 50, the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency has been collecting, logging, and identifying unknown soldiers like Yanez. Dr. Veronica Keys has been working in the DPAA Korean War Identification Project lab in Honolulu, Hawaii for 8 years, and says there have been many barriers in identifying these men. Barriers include incomplete remains, lost or destroyed records, and issues with DNA extraction.
If we don't have dental records or we don't have the chest radiographs, then it kind of limits what we can do to narrow down that list to get down to one person. So that is definitely, I would say, a big challenge for us.
Identifying war victims is like solving a puzzle with missing pieces. But the Hawaii lab got creative. Tomorrow on Cronkite News, I'll have more on the process to bring these soldiers home. In the newsroom, Mikenzie Hammel, Cronkite News.